Hi ML, how are you? This is Frederick. I wanted to make a little video, to give you a little show of, the testing and what went on and things like that. So the initial thing, what I started to do is going on the main site. I went ahead and tested turning everything off, clearing everything off, and nothing would happen, and we couldn't get it back, to running. So one of the things that I decided to do is go ahead and test multiple installations, see what went wrong. Once I knew that the plugin did work, and once we verified the IDs and everything was set correctly, I tested it on another location and it worked. And then I had tested it on yours on the root install just by switching the ID, but it wouldn't work. So what I did was create a dev, and so here is the dev, and I had created multiple devs, because the first dev that I did, it ran, and at some point it broke. And as I was moving things in it, then I went ahead and, let's do another fresh one where, let's find the needle in the haystack that messed things up. So I went ahead and ran this multiple times, and here are the databases. WP1, 2, we went a third time, a fourth time, and then a fifth time, and then a sixth time. I just named it WP33. As we were testing, it's sometimes everything would be running, and all of a sudden it would break. Which would leave you, that there is either something wrong with the pages or a setting. At times, if I imported the flat sum settings, it would short. If I imported the pages, it would short. So there were multiple things that seemed to be going on. And I figure it had to be within the settings of the export, because the export, you do export pages, boom, and it throws everything into it that's on the other database, and you import them to the new one and it would break. So what I did is, like, once I could verify that we had a working checkout, and this one on this page forwards to this checkout over here. But I was able to verify that, hey, it does work. Now I am in the US. And let's see, this is your main one, so once we verify that, and then I was moving along trying to import everything, what I decided to do was, since this was working and all the settings were there, just about, I'm like, let me start comparing settings on the database with that other database and this one. If I would have done it a little earlier, there were just way too many things missing, because there's a lot of content within the site that needed to be set up, and a lot of settings, so I started comparing settings within the post meta, and there seemed to be a lot of like different WP options and post meta values that were messing it up. I deleted a lot of transients and different settings, that were there for the Klarna page. I wasn't sure if it was one of your plugins that added it, but there was, for example, like if I search for the Klarna page, there were repeated functions that seemed to appear within the content of the page instead of the page itself, which was very confusing, or at least, to me, how did that get there? So there was some issues with that. So once everything cleared, while I was doing that, a few times we did get the white screen, and then I had to run and try to fix and work on fixing the little white screen issues that we would get, as I got in myself as well. And once everything was cleared and I was comparing, with all the settings, I was able to get it to run correctly. So right now, everything's running. There is the dev already. So you have a dev build up over here, but the live site is finally running good, and it's not broken anymore. So it has taken us, a little bit longer than expected, but I'm very glad that is working and running, and that we found this issue. In the future, I know this dev is not there were still a few things missing, from this, but I would recommend to test things here instead of testing things on the live site, just to double check. What I have also done is exported the current database as it is. That way, in case anything happens, we can go back to that one. And that would be preferable, since this was a varied issue happening with you. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be available all day. Thank you. Have a good day.